So the Sixers suffer yet another tough loss last night to the Toronto Raptors, who it now seems will probably be our first-round playoff opponent. We'll talk about the game last night, discuss what a first-round series would be like, and also break down whether this team can right the ship with just a few games to go in the regular season. Let's go. Perfect. What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome on into Philly Take with RB. You know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, be sure to double check, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of the content. We will have you covered all the way up and through the playoffs. You know, the live game streams, videos like this, post games, news videos, all that stuff. We have you covered here on the channel. Appreciate the support. Today we are back, and we're going to talk a little bit about this game last night. Just another disappointing dagger to the heart, man, and we got to get this right. We have to get this right. 2 games to go in the regular season. We'll talk about the playoff implications, what a first-round series may look like, and if the Sixers can right the ship, man. But first and foremost, we got to start on something positive, right, before we drill into the negatives, and that is this. LeBron James is done for the season. That coming out today. So, in turn, Joel Embiid, barring any unforeseen circumstances, is going to win the scoring title most likely, and he will be the first center in over 20 years, since 1999, to win that award, or to win that feat since Shaquille O'Neal did it. And, Joel Embiid, he's going to be like the first time in like 35, 40 years that a center's averaging 30-plus, I believe. So, just a great feat for Embiid. I don't know if he'll get the MVP. It kind of seems like everybody's, leaning towards Jokic, but whatever, man. Embiid has had a heck of a season, and I hope we can get things on track for him. All right, that was the positive. Now we got to get into the truth, man. I try to bring the truth the best that I can. I try to, look at things both ways from every angle, but right now it doesn't look good. So we start off with this. The Sixers fall to the Raptors last night, 119-114. We go down in the 6th, man. No Matisse Thybulle, by the way, which will have implications. He cannot play in Toronto. And Boston, they sat Tatum and Horford last night. It seems like both teams are trying to avoid Toronto. The Sixers just did a worse job at it because Toronto won. They stay as the 5 seed. The Sixers stay in the 4 seed, and it looks like that could be our first-round playoff opponent, which we'll talk about more. But look at this stat, man. The Raptors trailed as many as 15 last night before coming back to beat the Sixers. And for the Sixers, it is their 7th loss this year after leading by 15+, second only to the New York Knicks with 8 for most in the NBA. That's just bad, man. That is just bad. And there's a lot of reasons that happened. Here are my 3 main takeaways from last night's game. Number 1, James Harden has been miserable. We just got to speak the truth. James Harden has not been good enough, and he's not been as what he was advertised. Now, there are ways that I think you can cater his game a little bit to try to be more effective. The fact of the matter is this. 1, he needs to play better. He needs to hit his shots, this, and that, and he needs to do a lot better. He's facilitating well. He's setting his guys up. I think some things from a strategy-wise could kind of help, but we're not doing those either. But James Harden needs to play better. And the other thing is that, and this kind of hinges our success not just now, but also in the future as well. Will his hamstring hold up? We saw a period of rest for him when he got traded, and he came out and within 5 games or whatever it was, he was looking really fantastic. Hopefully this week of rest coming up for the play-in will help him out. But even, in the future, right? Because, Morey's going to try to sign him. And just to throw this notion away, I keep hearing people say, oh, well, you can't sign him for $60 million a year. Let me tell you something, okay? With the way he is playing, he's not getting $60 million a year. He's not getting 50, 40. He's not been playing up to par. He's not getting that money. In fact, I would actually presume or predict here early on, obviously, before the playoffs, that he might even opt in for 1 year to try to bet on himself because he is not playing well. I don't think anybody out there is ready to throw money his way because he just doesn't look healthy and he doesn't look effective right now. But will that hamstring linger? Will an off-season rest period help him out? Who knows? He was looking great last year. He was, up at the top of the league before he got hurt last year. And, it's just been lingering the whole time. And it's just a known fact. He has had an injury. Of course, he needs to play better. But I do think that is bothering him. Every time he hits the ground, you could see him come up, grimace. It's also been part of it. So Harden has to be better. The second thing is our lack of adjustments once again, our inability to do anything on the fly. Nick Nurse completely outcoached Doc Rivers. That's why the Sixers lost, and I didn't even mention the Raptors didn't even have Fred VanVleet or OG Anunoby. The Sixers got completely outclassed and outcoached once again by Nick Nurse, which he always does. You know, first it was Brett Brown in those days, and then it was Doc Rivers. We just can never have a coach live up even close to what Nick Nurse can do. And that's why even months ago when you know, we were talking about certain playoff opponents, I said I don't want to see the Raptors because, you know, I still think we have a chance to win that series, but Nick Nurse is going to make it very hard because he knows how to play. We ran the same 2 plays the entire second half. And Nick Nurse is smart. You know what he does? He lets Joel get into a rhythm, and then he starts bringing traps and throwing different things. Then Embiid has his confidence altered, and nobody else can step up. We did the same 2 plays the entire second half. We had one stretch in the fourth quarter where Tyrese Maxey had 7 straight. I literally called it on the live stream. I said, feed Tyrese. We go to him 7 straight, and then he goes back to corner duty. It makes no sense. Late in the game, I remember a play with about 1:40 to go. We're down, I think, 6 points. We need a bucket, and we're running isolations. I call it living on Isolation Island. We're living with James Harden ISOs. At some point, we need to realize he is not ISO Harden anymore. You need to run a heavy dose of pick and roll, and that will make our team more effective. I don't know if it'll make us a top team, a top offense. It'll make us more effective with Harden also being able to facilitate off the pick and roll, but he's still having trouble blowing by guys. He doesn't look healthy. I think he needs rest. And that's my second thing. We just, you know, I'm also not seeing that fire, whether that's Doc not having his, you know, having his locker room down packed or the players not wanting to play. I don't see that extra fire. I don't see that hunger. You know, I don't see anything extra of that. The Raptors had that last night, and it really beat us down. And when we hit adverse situations, it's like not having that just completely kills us because we don't know how to act in those situations. And it's just been tough, man. And then the third thing has been going on all year, and we just don't play a lick of defense. We don't put a hand up. We let Precious Achiuwa and Pascal Siakam turn into KD and Curry last night. We do this against every team. These guys that are no names come out, and I'm not saying Pascal or Achiuwa are no names. I'm just saying when we play every team, there's always a guy or someone that just lives up. Like Achiuwa shouldn't be hitting shots off the dribble like that from deep. It just shouldn't happen. And the Sixers let it happen, and they don't put hands up on defense, and it's going to kill us in the playoff time, man, unless we fix it. Those are my 3 main takeaways. I know I ranted on that. Sixers got to get it together. They have to get it, you know, they need to get this on track because we are 2 games away from the playoffs. Speaking of which, here are the standings right now before tonight's games. All you need to know at this point is the Celtics have 1 game to go. The Sixers have 2. The Sixers should, if they play their guys, win both games. Boston is going up against Memphis. Memphis may rest their players. If Boston loses that game to Memphis and the Sixers win out their final 2 games, the Sixers would hop up to the 3rd spot and play most likely the Chicago Bulls. If not, which is probably more likely, we're going to be stuck in a first-round matchup with the Toronto Raptors. And I'm just, you know, again, I'm just going to give a brief conversation today. Next week we'll have, you know, a lot more talks. We're going to have the call-in line open, so be sure to hop in the stream and call in all. My main thoughts, preliminary, on the Sixers-Raptors series. I don't know if we're good enough to beat this team right now. And look, I've been the guy trying to stick it out, say, you know, it's going to pick up. We're just kind of coasting right now. And I still think we could beat the Raptors in a series. But am I positive? Heck no. Why? Because we're going to get outcoached by Nick Nurse. It always against the Raptors and the Heat. Those 2 teams, I hate playing because they make life hard on Joel Embiid, and nobody else can step up. You're going to need Harden to step up. You're going to need Tobias to step up. You're going to need Maxey to step up. The bench, there's a lot of inconsistency, and we're struggling from it right now, and I'm not feeling too good because it's not, you know, even when you're not playing as well, you need your coach to kind of get everybody going and hit on certain areas, and I feel like we just coast the entire time. And I don't know if that's going to change for the playoffs. Nick Nurse is going to do the same thing if we played him in the playoffs. He's going to, you know, let Embiid get in a rhythm for a quarter, which he always does. And then he's going to start to bring weak side help. He's going to throw traps from behind as soon as he puts the ball on the floor and turns. They're going to double him. I don't see enough communication right now from the Sixers. And, you know, he's just going to make life hard on us. He really is. And then it's going to be whether Harden can step up and whether Maxey will get enough touches. There's just a lot of questions. Like, again, the Sixers have, from a talent perspective, enough talent to win a couple playoff series, but will it be consistent enough? Will these guys be in the right mindset, in the right situations, and will they step up? I don't know. And it's very frustrating because, just thinking for the last couple times we've been in the playoffs, like, are our best chances behind us? Even with a terrible coach before, with a guy that wouldn't shoot a basketball, were those our best chances? We cannot waste Joel Embiid. I think he's going to crank it up in the playoffs and have a great first-round series at least. So I think we could potentially get out of the first round because Embiid's that great. But it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough if we don't fix these fundamental issues, honestly. I mean, they're plain as day to see. We say it every single game. And then also not having Matisse Thybulle on the road for, 3 games of a series, that's going to be tough as well. We saw it last night. We needed more help on the perimeter. We're already not defending in terms of an effort level that well. We're going to need more help. And Matisse Thybulle not being available, that will be even tougher. And, I mean, it's going to make it hard. Raptors are a good, young, athletic team. The Sixers have more talent than the Raptors, but the Raptors have more hunger, athleticism, and all, checking all those boxes. So Sixers need to pick it up. Hopefully this week of rest will allow these guys to come together as a team, have that chemistry, and have those talks. But Doc needs to put the work in and not look like he's lazy. And these players, somebody's got to step up and get us on the right track because, now the Raptors, the Bucks, the Suns game, all blowing leads, not a good signal heading to the playoffs. And I don't, either way, there's going to be structural changes this offseason. But, man, we can't go out like that. We got to get something done. Joel Embiid deserves better. He deserves better. And those are just my preliminary thoughts. I'll leave it there today. We'll be discussing more for sure. But give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. How do you feel about this team right now heading into the playoffs, especially after that game last night? We got to hope somehow we can get in the 3rd seed. Again, I don't see any team overly talented, like separating themselves that much from the rest of the pack in the East. But right now, just like every other team has their flaws, we have a lot of them. And we got to correct it, man. And that's just where I'm at. So hopefully we can pick it up. Give me all your thoughts down below. Appreciate you for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.